Yeah, good morning everyone. Hope you are ready with your books. And first of all, before we start with the proceeding of the chapter, let us discuss something about the worksheets that you have got to do. See, more worksheets now have already come for you for all different subjects. That's why I waited now for some more time to upload worksheets for English. So it's a good thing. For 1 or 2 more days, I think I must wait because you are already loaded with a lot of work. I wish within this 1 or 2 days time you try to do your maximum work of all other subjects, and then once the worksheet for English are also loaded, then accordingly you start doing your work. And this time again, please take care of certain things. I think in the passage I made some points clear for you, like the size of the file exactly it should be like. It should not be very a big one because it uses a lot of trouble to open it. Next is he asks for the module or asks for the worksheet. One file for one worksheet you can just maintain. Next is please don't send somebody else's work just by changing the layout or the background of it. It is somebody else's original work. It is in the terms of law called plagiarism, and this is something against anyone, because someone who writes originally, that is his or her property, and if it is to be encroached without the permission of that writer, it cannot be done, and if so, it is punishable by law. Good that we should not discuss, at length about the parameters of law and all such things are there. But when we talk about, one's own honesty and one's own dignity, then in that case we have to see to it that we are not learning anything wrong. In the days to come, we are not going to turn out to be citizens on which the question would be there. Therefore, it's my request and it's my urge to you all, please do your real and original work. See, otherwise also now there is not much work going. Suppose you had been there in the classroom, you would be writing the work there on the board for all the classes you imagine, and apart from that also there would have been homework. So now at present we don't have that load of doing so much of work. So don't try to get all shortcuts, because if there is one particular way already laid for you, so you should not resort to this kind of thing. These are all wrong and negative things, and in the long run they do not work. I'll just tell you one thing. Say, whenever you appear for an interview, they would ask you whatever you have studied, and if you have not completed during that time, do you think that you would be able to stand well in the interview? Impossible. It is not possible at all. And I will tell you, in all the interviews, if you have done extremely well, during your time as a student, so you don't have to worry much. Then they may ask you some finer things so that they would arrive at a conclusion whether that particular post to be given to you or not. So this is what actually happens in real life scenario. So by resorting to this cheap means or ordinary means, it's not going to serve you, in the long run. Therefore, I think it is quite a good one. See, already you get handouts, and from there you can continue the summary of the chapter. And the questions are, of course, right from there. Only 1 or 2 are there wherein you will have to give your opinion. And language is basically all for that. Your own language must come. You should have your own art of expression. So by just copying somebody's work, it will not help you in the days to come. All your future, it is not going to be there with you, and you are not going to be benefited out of this kind of activity. So just stopping the lecture on this part of learning, and then coming on to the back of what we are actually supposed to do. It is page number 28. Actually, we had already completed. You can just review your book. It's page number 28, which was already done. Now, I just read out 1 or 2 lines of page number 28 so that you will get back to the chapter. I think the most important lines were, I could turn him over to the police without difficulty. I care nothing for him. He is my enemy. All Americans are my enemy, but he is only common fellow. You see how foolish his face is. But since he is wounded and then dots are there, and then I think I told you, you try to understand what the writers actually want to convey through this punctuation marks. So here we wanted to put he is wounded, that means then is it okay that we can just leave this fellow in this condition and he would be wailing in, or we can say screaming in pain. Would it all be good though this fellow is an enemy? And he says all Americans are my enemies. So I think here we had seen all that, and then one or two lines of the last paragraph. And now we are going to be there on page number 29. Today we will try to cover page number 29, 30, 31, 32, and half of 33. So this is the target. Let us see how far I am able to do that. Well, the next paragraph, the next page is page number 29. On top, of course, you can just go through it. But next to next, that is the third paragraph, which is quite a big one. There we get an idea. This fellow, the American soldier who was wounded, this fellow is taken home. And as he is taken home, something is to be done for him because he is already wounded. And they had already made up their mind what they should do for this man. Because they must have considered their primary responsibility towards any patient is to first save the life of such a person. And maybe in this case again, though it, taking this fellow home would have given them a lot of troubles if they had decided to take this fellow home. And they, before taking this fellow home, they must have thought of what Yumi and the gardener, these two servants at home, what they would think and what would be their reactions. Having understood all that, I mean to say, having considered all that, they must have come to a conclusion that above all these things, though there are a lot of difficulties, obstacles, or you can say more problems by doing that act, yet they must do that because in the name of humanity, they must do so. And more so, I think I try to help you understand. For a doctor, anybody who is in the pain is only a patient for them. Then for them, no other boundary or no other parameter would be important. And therefore, both of them behaved in this particular fashion. And according to them, only they have to look after this fellow. As long as he is not well, they must, try to heal him. And once he is all right, they will be giving him to the police, and that's what they had earlier decided. And so they had gathered courage to take this fellow home. And after taking him home, then he had to be given the bedding and all. So of that particular paragraph, which I referred to, third paragraph, the big one, the last two lines, if we see about that, Hannah went to the wall cupboards, and slid back a door and took out a soft quilt. Quilt is some two-layered cloth, kind of bedding it would be. So that quilt, and then she hesitated. The quilt was covered with flowers, silk, and the lining was pure white silk. Here, if we try to understand, though she was doing all that, she was involved in the act of saving that man's life. But at the same time, her mind was working on another side too, whether I should do this much or let it be just we'll give him some kind of treatment. He comes in consciousness and we'll give him to the police. So for that, she was hesitating. She was looking at her action once again, and she was pondering over it. Whether I should sacrifice or I must, spoil my good clothes. So that quilt which had, beautiful flowering, that is beautiful design, and it was made of silk. The cloth was also silk. She was a bit thoughtful about it, and anyways, she hesitated, but she did the act. Nana karte pyar hai, main karne, like that. You have to decide on a particular situation, but you are in a kind of constant dilemma. You go on, taking the side of one argument and then switching that argument to another side, and then backing up with another argument like that. She was there in indecisive kind of state. Next is, she says again that man was quite so dirty, and when this was heard by her husband, then she said, "Yeah, he is, and it's good that we washed." The expression which is used over here, yes, he had better be washed. He had better be washed. Above that is the line, he is so dirty. So in the line above, he is so dirty is simple present tense, and in the next one, he had better be washed. Here it seems to us it is simple, it is past perfect tense, but it's not so. And this is what makes English a bit difficult because it is an expression in English which whose meaning is not to be taken in the past tense, while its meaning is generally from the relevant or the present condition. So the meaning of this phrase is generally like in Hindi we say, "ये अच्छा होगा कि हम इसे wash करें." This is the meaning. So whenever next time you get this kind of thing, you had better go, you had better write, you had better wash him, better be washed here. It is in the passive form. So the best idea is, or the most important idea at this moment is that we must give him a wash. And Sadhav agreed. If you will fetch you will fetch hot water and I'll wash him. The word is used here, fetch. See, of course, we are there in the 50 half century. Happy to all of them who are watching, and I wish you just don't simply watch it, try to understand of 51 too. Good. So, in the course of the story, let us try to learn one or more things here. The word used here is fetch. Generally, we say bring. Bring is just somebody is there, and from there somebody brings something. That is for that kind of condition. Bring is most. But when you use the word fetch, this means go and bring it. Because Hannah is right there with Sadam, and she has to bring the water. So she is not already there to bring that water to Sadam. So she is at this moment with Sadam. Therefore, this word is quite suitable. So from this, what we can understand, when you are giving a task to somebody, and that somebody is there with you, and you wanted that fellow to bring something. So instead of using the word bring, you can better go for this choice of the word called fetch, and tell him to fetch water. Would you please fetch some, you can say food for me? That means to go inside and bring food for me. So like this you can use it. Well, it was something about language. Now back to the part of the story. In the next line, we understand again the content. I mean to say a lot of dislike for this American soldier, because already their country and America, they were opponents. They were on divided as different groups. So it was not quite hearty for him, for this girl to always do something good for this man. And therefore, whenever she was taking something out for this fellow, she was showing some of her hesitations for doing this kind of acts. Therefore, she says in the next line, as I am reading it out, showing her dislike for it. I cannot bear you. I cannot bear for you to touch him. She said. And we shall have to tell the servants that he is here. I will tell Yumi now, you can leave the children for a few minutes and she can wash it. Let us try to understand this point. Of course, they were trying to, help out that man by giving him consciousness. But she was not very much willing to do, all things which are possible to be done. If he, in the process, if he survives, all good. If it doesn't, it's okay. This kind of, you can say, judgment is there. Like, you want to do some good to some person, but your heart is still not so much willing to do all that, but you feel it's okay, let us willing to do something. So you can, take any side of it. You can just back up your negative sides. You can also, back up your positive mindset. This was all possible. So at such a time when she has to, or both of them have to give life to this man back. So they were just thinking, why to do too much for this man? Because Sadao said he would wash himself. He would want that man himself. He would do that act. Only he needed hot water to be brought. But she said, why should you do that? Such minimal kind of act, such a trivial act. Let our servants do that. I'll ask Yumi because Yumi is only there looking after children, and maybe the children must have slept by now. So Yumi is free. Let me call Yumi. Yumi do it. Fine. So by this, like this, when we proceed, one more time we get here where we can notice the dilemma from the bottom, page number 29 again, third paragraph that begins with, I'm just reading out. He will die unless he is operated on without considering. The question is whether he will not die anyway. Now again the point comes, otherwise also he would die. And if I operate on him, there are more possibilities that this man will die. So they are of course thinking, they will save this man's life. But in the process, if this man dies, it's okay. But otherwise also he is going to die. That is the thought of whether to save this man or not again troubled them. That is what I would call it a condition of dilemma. So wherever you are getting points wherein you have to understand, this is quite important. I hope you understand to take notes, at least if you realize certain things. The question is whether he will not die anyway. Anna cried out in fear, don't try to save him. What if he should live? Why should we, even if he lives, what will happen? We are ultimately going to give this fellow to the police. So otherwise also he is going to meet his, unfortunate time. Well, if he should die, so he stood gazing. Gazing is continuously looking at something, like we say, staring. This is another substitute word for staring is gazing. If you by mistake put R over there, it becomes grazing. So you have to be very careful, and the meaning of grazing is known to you. This man must have extraordinary vitality, or he would not have survived. That means they are putting a logic, different logics they are putting as to how it is correct to save this man's life. See, first thing is he felt, he was shot. Then he survived that injury of bullet. Then he traveled all that long distance. He was thrown by the waves there in the water. He must have got dashed against those rocks. Sand also got stuck on the wound of his. And even after that, if this man survives, this what we then would conclude is, this man's destiny is that he would survive. And considering this, I think these people would also try to heal him, and then later on they would see whether this man can be, given to the police or not. But they had already made up their mind that they would do so. I'm not reading everything because otherwise it takes a lot of time for giving explanation. I hope you understand, because now he was planning just to operate on this fellow. So the preparations they were making. The first thing was washing him up completely. For that they needed hot water, and that hot water, he had expected Hannah to bring, but Hannah was also not quite so willing to do, and she did not even want this man, that is her husband, to do all that act by himself. She said, one of the servants would do this thing for us. Fine. Now, one bigger paragraph after the smaller discussion is Hannah considered this paragraph, and towards the end, one line comes. He was the first she had seen since she left America, and here he was her enemy in the last line of that paragraph. Now I had underlined those two lines. I can just discuss on these 2 points. I can tell you here, after a long time she had seen any American. The last that they had seen was the time they were there in America to learn something about surgery, and they were there in American professor's home. That was the time that they had seen more of Americans. But since then, a lot of scenario must have changed. The world scenario had changed. The condition of wars must have come, and now they were into this situation when they would have to treat one American fellow, and that's why she says it's a long time that she had seen any. That does not mean that she was very much willing to see that American. She was instead quite so unhappy to see that American fellow. But anyways, what to do? She continued doing this thing. Then in the continuing paragraphs, what we come to know, Hannah goes to the nursery, and there she wants to help out, get the help of these servants. So she would give call to Yumi and this fellow, another servant there. Now servant's reaction, that's what exactly I wanted to tell over here. What the servants do is, discussion will be on this three major points. Now comes this major point, submissive reaction. Then Hannah's reaction, the actual operation. Somewhere we have also noticed Hannah's reaction already, wherever she wanted to convey that she was not extremely willing to do, that act of kindness for him, but she was just doing. Sometimes we do certain things only mechanically because we have to do, and wherein your heart is not involved, and therefore that work is also not very nicely done, or its result is also not so good. Like when you are forced to study at home, and your parents say you now study, and they're beside you and watching you. Once this kind of condition comes for you, do you think that whatever you read, you are going to grasp everything? No. Because there is first condition, that is condition is forced one. Second one is the fear of being scolded. And both the things will not allow your mind to be free and to pursue a lot of things. So what is the best condition? Your own heart tells you that you must do it. You must study it. Like if you had thought of making your own worksheets, you would not have faced any kind of problem. And it's really so wrong on your part that you were trying to check the intelligence of the teachers and the schools. See, our job is not to find out all these kind of things. Our job is only to teach you the best way whatever we can. And we have got all our limitations and capabilities. Well, we are doing our best to teach you. And see, your job is to be honest. Because in the long run, when you are actually writing your board examination, do you think that whatever you had copied that is going to work for you? Impossible. See, sometimes the questions that are asked there in the examination, they are so tricky that unless you know the content of the whole chapter, the gist of the whole chapter, you are not able to do justice with the question. It will ultimately be reflected in your results, and nobody wants to see any bad result. Even the one who doesn't put all his efforts on the day of the result, he feels that some miracle would take place and the result will come. Please don't do so half-heartedly. Yumi was, getting herself involved in the process of, cleaning this fellow up and all. It was half-heartedly she was doing. So before that, she tried to get help from all these two servants of her. One was Yumi, and another one, this one, the gardener was there. So both of them gave their reactions the moment they were asked to do. When Yumi was asked, so Yumi was not happy to do so, and she was showing her dislike for it, and her you can say lack of consent for the work. And she felt whatever the work is already assigned to her, that is looking after the children, that she was quite comfortable with, and she just wanted to do that one. She did not want to do something which she was not willing to do. And she also some works are already assigned to you can say maids. So beyond that, if we are asking any work from to get extracted from them, do you think very easily or eagerly? No. Because they also come from a limited period. Their responsibilities are there elsewhere. Well, in this case, maybe the full time they might be giving the service. That is another part. I'm just giving you an example. So, in case you are giving other work than which is already for which you have already got the maid, she will not be ready or very much inclined to do the work, but she would not reject it outright. But there is something like the time of Corona is going on, and you want her to do the most dirty work of home. Do you think that she would be quite willing to do so? No. She would express her resentment for it. She would say, she would not do in any condition all that kind of things. Like that, Hannah faced this situation when she asked this work to be done by Yumi. So Yumi rejected, and then she must have thought of taking help of the old gardener. So the paragraph from the bottom, you can see the fourth one, the line that begins with then Hannah led the way quickly and softly to the kitchen. The two servants were frightened at what their master had just told them. The old gardener, who was also a house, pulled a few hairs on his upper lip. See, when we read previous knowledge of English, must make us think. Here, one word is used, hairs. Do we use plural form of hair in general? So why it is used over here? So it can be the rarest kind of expressions when it refers to only few number. So maybe the writers must have sometimes used it. But my advice to you is don't go for all this. The accepted one is the hair. It is never meant plural. So you have to use the word hair only in a singular form. Meaning is to be understood in the plural. So if like this, if you keep your eyes so watchful, it will give you proper understanding of the English language. You will enhance your language, and unless you steal the language from here, you are not going to get extraordinary helpful language from anywhere. You will have to extract this habit, focusing on certain words, trying to get its meaning, how it is used over here, whether this context is appropriate. So whether I will also have to use it in this particular context. Like that, we have to give a thought to. Okay. So the point here is the old gardener also and you, me, both of them did not like the kind of work they were asked to do. And they were so unhappy, doing that work. And they were not actually, they had already not started doing that. Then next something was said, which is there in the inverted comma in the next paragraph. I'll just read it out. The master ought not to heal the wound of this white man, he said bluntly to Malik. So you have to put your foot down sometimes. Like when it is something about your own position, when it is something about your own rights, when it is something about the rights of women. So what should one do? When a kind of situation comes, one has to put one's foot down. One has to make the line clear. This is for me, and this is what I am going to do. Beyond that, I am not going to do it. For example, you are appointed as customers executive there in a particular bank. But your boss then calls you and then gives you a work. Would you please, in the meanwhile, give these files to all these employees there wherever you are free? See, if it is just for once, you would do it. But in the statement of his, you come to understand that in your free time, when there is no other customer to deal with, you will have to go on giving this file from one person to another. Here itself, you understand, and then here itself, you can put your foot down if you don't want to risk your job if you are in a private company. Still, you can tell, sir, is this my job? And if it is so, I'm not happy with this job. You can decide. But I think in today's time, nobody gathers this kind of right. Because what? There are already scarcity of job. So you would not put this question. But somewhere in your mind, that thought would be there, this is not your job, this is the job of some MTS. So let MTS do that. But your job boss is expecting this work from you every time. So you have to put your foot down and tell, I'm sorry, sir, I cannot do this. Maybe once or twice when you tell, the job boss will understand. Let me tell you, but if you do so, in private companies, there is a lot of power there in the hands of the boss, and the boss is able to do a lot to your job without giving you an impression that what he is going to do to your job, he may do a lot of things. That is why we all must encourage government jobs, which are depleting in our country at this moment. So security of job here goes. Well, whatever it is, these two, they were not in a government job, but they were just servants there in the house of Sadao and Hana. But they did not like this act because according to them, this act was not the act in the list of patriotism. And they made it so clear, and that's when the adjective is used so bluntly, he said something. No, this advertised. So he said, I should not do this act. And what we are trying is, we are trying to say the white man. White man is an enemy to Japanese. And this we should not do. That's what he said so clearly. The white man ought to is we must not, should is advice, then stronger advice is ought to, and obligation. So ought to works also as an obligation, as does must. The white man ought to die. So that is his destiny. He has come all the way. That was, you can say luck by chance. It is only, you can say, a coincidence that he has come here and you people are doctors. That is, you can just take it as part of the coincidence. But it's not that it's your duty in order to save his life. So that's what the arguments he was putting on that. and we continued doing so in that paragraph as you read. I'll tell him what you say. Anna replied courteously. And then, could I ever be well? Could it ever be well to help an enemy? Nevertheless, she told Yumi to fetch the hot water and bring it to the room where the white man was. Of course, Yumi had made it so clear that she would not wash that wounded man by the medical color. Yet, she was asked to fetch, that is, take the hot water where that American fellow was lying. And that thought was already there. Could it be there? Could it be right to help an enemy or to save an enemy? Because that will put our position into difficulty. Now, next paragraph, somewhere towards the end of the where inverted commas come, again their disgust or dislike comes. I have never watched a white man, she said, and I will not watch so dirty a one now. So actually, Sadao must have told her to wash, Anna to wash, or no, to this woman, Yumi, and she must have said, I've never watched a white man, that is an American fellow, and now also I would not do anything. Suppose the situation would be such that there would not be any war between two countries. So do you think that Yumi would not have watched the white man? It's not so. She would have definitely done so. Because there is no, you can say, disgust for such kind of fellow. There is no contempt for this kind of fellow because their countries are not warring countries. So something about humanity would be more prominent. But in today's condition for them, in the present condition for them, the situation was they both of them were warring countries and both of them were hating each other. And that is why you said, I have never done this kind of act and I really don't want to. So Hannah cried at her severely, then she must have, because she is the master. So she cried at her, that is, scolded her severely. You will do what your master commands you. So, generally, this kind of situation comes. Once somebody is there in a superior position or at the position of being your master, has the authority to command you to get some work done. But still the master sees some kind of hesitation. He may raise his voice the way Anna had done over here. And then Yumi what said, it comes in the next one, that is Yumi's reaction, the servant's reaction, you can say. There was so fierce a look of resistance upon Yumi's round, dull face that Anna felt unreasonably afraid. After all, if the servants should report something, that was not as it happened. So, when Yumi, you can say the servant, she had shown her rejection for the whole master, Anna, she also had to give it a thought because she also could not take a lot of risk. Because if these two are unhappy and angry with them, or these two scold them for doing this work, ultimately it is possible that these two might turn to the police or to the authorities and they might inform them. So she could not exercise her authority too much. Of course, she had tried doing so, but she was not going to see all that happen. In next line or paragraph, we come to know, I will have nothing to do with it. Yumi said, I am a poor person and it is not my business. That means here Yumi must have tried to reason with her, that is, try to convince her. Is it not the duty of man to save another man and all this kind of thing? We will first just heal him, get him to consciousness, and then we'll hand him over to the police. Yumi says, this is not my business. My business is only to do my work, and if you want me to continue working, you just give me my work, and beyond that, I will not do. Very firmly, she must have said. That is what we call as put your foot down. I have nothing to do with it, Yumi said, and I am just a poor person, and it is not my business. Then Yumi must have left that place in the next paragraph. And next, that is the last paragraph, we come to know the first sentence that begins with stupid Yumi, she muttered. And Abusaigat ultimately, when you are, subordinate to the boss, bad words only would come. So, just like that, when her work was not done, Anna must have called her to be stupid, the Yumi, and she must have thought of now doing the work on her own. So in the middle of the paragraph, I'm just reading. When she had this, when she had his breast bare, she dipped the small clean towel that Yumi had brought into the steaming hot water and washed his face carefully. The man's skin, though rough with exposure, was of a fine texture and must have been very blond when he was a child. This is a description of, or I can say, the writer's ability to describe every minute details. And as we grab, language, a particular language, always, start gaining command over a particular language, we should be able to describe every smaller of elusive thing. And that's what, the writer has done it. Now go to the next page, page number 32. Paragraph 1, 2. After the end of, you can say the big two paragraphs, two conversations are there, which are beginning with inverted commas and you. I'll just read them out. You have decided to opt. She queried. Yes, he said shortly. He turned his back to her and unfolded a sterilized towel upon the floor of the tokonomo. Tokonomo at the bottom, you will get its explanation. It is a kind of cloth. Tokonomo alcove and put his instruments upon it. Fetch towels, he said. That means now all preparations were already done. So Sadao was quite focused. He had already made up his mind and he did not want to get back from his work of his decision, and he thought he must just now immediately do his work. He said, he was questioned by his wife, are you really operating on it? He said yes. And without speaking much, he just turned his back to the wife of his, and then he started taking out all his instruments that he would be required, that he would require in the process of operating. And I think it's all in the next page we all come to know what was there in the process. Yeah, how cleaning up was done, about the wound and the wound, then bleeding, and then it is staining the mat, and that's what making Hannah to be unhappy about it. She did not want to get it that mat to be spoiled. All that we come to know. Now you can just go through it. It's not much over there. Then page number 33, you come the paragraph that begins with, "You will have to give the anesthetic if he needs it," he said. She repeated blankly. But never have I. It's easy enough, he said impatiently. Impatiently, that is, you can say, in a small, with a small tinge of, you can say, anger. She said, yeah, yeah. So he said, Anna, now we have to give anesthetic because he wouldn't be otherwise able to, bear his, you can say, sufferings. Hannah herself was a doctor, but she did not want to do much for this man. But Sadao said, yes, of course you would have to do. She tried to reason him out by telling, yeah, I have never done so. So again she said, that's not a tough task, it's quite so easy. You can just go ahead doing all that. And in the next we come to know, he finds out there in that injury, a bullet was quite so inside. And the last but one line comes there in that paragraph. But the bleeding is not superficial. That means it is not coming out right only from the surface. Superficial is the surface part of it. So it's not just coming, the blood is not coming out from the surface part of the wound. It is coming right from much deeper part of his body. So he has lost much of blood. I think here I must stop for today, and hope you must have understood this story to some extent. Though it is quite so lengthy, but I want you to just bear with me. 2 more classes I think we will need to finish this very, very lengthy chapter. Thank you. Good day. Take care. Bye.